Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith, and today I'm going to make an apple pie. Wonderful time of year for an apple pie with ice cream. So I have some red delicious apples, sugar. I'm only putting about half a cup of sugar in. I don't like my pies too sweet. A tablespoon of butter, cinnamon of course, and something a little different. I'm going to grate a good knob of ginger to put in. Get a little more exotic flavor. Then of course I have the pie crust. I've already made the pie dough, and I'll put a link just up there so you can see my recipe for pie dough. So let me peel and core the apples and get them cut up. But I am actually not going to put them directly into my pie raw. Have you ever made a pie, an apple pie, and had the crust poof up? So when you cut into it, there's a big empty space. Well, that's because you got a lot of apple in there and it's going to shrink down, and the steam from it is going to puff things and push the crust up. So what I'm actually going to do is make a pie filling, and that will give us a nice level crust on our pie. So let me get my apples prepared and I'll be back soon. So to prepare my apples, core them and peel them. I find it easier to peel once I have a quarter of an apple rather than trying to peel the whole apple. And just slice them. Of course, since it is going to be a pie filling and not being laid out like that in the pie, you could just chunk them. Just take the core out, remove the peel, and slice. Alright, apples are all peeled. That's 7 red delicious apples. And got a good amount there. That should be enough for pie, even once they cook down a little bit. Now I'm not going to add any water to this. Even when I'm making applesauce, I don't add water. I'm just going to put it on a low heat and cover it and give it some time. Now I did rinse the apples and pour the water off, so there is some moisture in there. They aren't completely dry. And apples have quite a lot of juice themselves. So let me get those on the stove and cooking, and then we have some other things to do. The apples have been cooking for about 15 minutes with the lid on. I'm going to take the lid off and give them a bit of a stir. I have already stirred them a little bit. And they are softening beautifully. There's quite a lot of fluid in the bottom there, if you can see that. So, I'm going to leave the lid off and continue to cook them gently. And try to let some of that liquid boil away. So while we wait for our apples to finish, we have a good sized piece of ginger. I'm going to use a microplane and just grate it up. So although I do want ginger in my apple pie, I don't want chunks that someone might bite into. I want the flavor, but not the experience of biting into a hunk of ginger. Apples have had a total of about 25 minutes on the stove. Most of it covered, the last few minutes uncovered. There is a lot of liquid in the bottom, but that's okay because we can just leave that in the pot when we put our apples in the pie. So now we are going to add half a cup of sugar, our grated ginger, and I'm just going to put a teaspoon in, so I still have a little left in dish. And about half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And a tablespoon of butter. And we're going to give that a mix together. And stir gently. We don't want to break our apples all up. But we do want to get it well distributed. Now, if you want, you can strain these off over a bowl. Let's get a bowl. Because while that liquid is wonderful apple juice, we really don't want all that liquid in our pie. So now we're just going to strain that off. Oops. And that's a lot of liquid. So let's have a little taste of our cooked apple, now that we've mixed everything into it. Very nice. If you want, you can add more sugar. I just tend not to like things terribly sweet. But that is good. And once we get it in the pie, we can adjust the flavorings, but we have to let it cool first. All right, let me give you a look at our pie now that it's had its 15 minutes at 425. It is. One side is browning faster than the other. So we're going to turn it so that the paler side is in the oven, or is it further back of the oven. And after I checked it last time and turned it and lowered the temperature to 350, this has been 30 minutes and it's beautiful. Can you see how lovely and shiny that crust is? And it's just begging for some ice cream. So apple pie, ice cream, and the apple pie has ginger in it as well as cinnamon. It is so tasty and a perfect beginning to fall. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you enjoyed the video, if you liked the recipe, please hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again soon with a new video.